Hi, and welcome to the Success with Savitha podcast. I'm very excited to have you here today because I know I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's going to be very different from the ones I'm used to. And it's a huge honor to have you here. I've been reading your bio. I've been looking at your work. You've had such an illustrious career. So welcome to the show and welcome to our conversation. What are some key trends you are seeing in the growth of women entrepreneurs and the ecosystem? Like, are there some things that you're noticing, especially in the last, I would touch upon the last 2-3 years because, we've had COVID.
Yeah. So, I think, again, a great question. I think the pandemic, of course, has seen more and more women sort of taking on entrepreneurship, some by necessity and some by choice, of course. The country has, of course, witnessed the most women-led startups turning into unicorns in 2021. We all know about some of those. I think some of the major startups in that area where they've actually turned into unicorns are run by women are, of course, Nykaa, which is also popular by Falguni Nayar, and then you've got MobiKwik, which is by Upasana Thakur, and a company called Zolostays, which is Sneha Chaudhary. In fact, yourstory.com, which is run by Shraddha Sharma, is run by a woman also, and now it's become a household name, right? Every startup wants to be part of yourstory.com, and they want to be featured over there, and at least amongst the startup community. In fact, Shraddha, I was talking to her a couple months back, and she has now started a new community in her platform called herstory.com, which is all about creating women-led stories. Another story comes to my mind, and this is a young friend of mine, Neha Bagaria. She runs, you probably have heard of her. She runs this platform called Jobs for Her, which is India's largest career platform to accelerate women's careers. Their vision is to really enable women to achieve their full potential by enabling them to start, restart, and then rise in their careers. Now, often successful career women, at the prime of their careers, get stuck at home or have to go back to home due to having to move because they just got married. Some life event happened. Maybe they had kids and therefore they go back to their homes and want to take care of their kids. Or it could just be taking care of older parents. And all of these, unfortunately, bring their careers to a grinding halt oftentimes. Of course, things have changed now with remote working and all of that, and I think that definitely helps that end of it. But assuming that they can't do the remote working and it really brings their career to a grinding halt, then when they're ready to go back to work years later, and it could be several years later, it becomes extremely difficult. And this is where I think a company like Jobs for Her comes into for rescue with them, because it really starts by helping such women to restart and repurpose themselves. I think it's a fantastic idea by a fantastic entrepreneur. So hats off to her, what she's done. The other trend that I'm also seeing is that in the last few years, e-commerce and social commerce have boosted women's entrepreneurship to a very large extent. For example, last year, obviously, Meesho reached the milestone of 9 million. It's a household name again. 9 million women entrepreneurs on their platform, right? And with more than about 60% of them, they were coming from tier 3 towns, such as Dimapur and Faizabad and Haldwani. I've never even heard of these towns, right? And so I think it's becoming clear that the will and the tenacity to work hard and work hard and then grow are very much there among women across the country. What is also happening as a trend is that you're also starting to see lots of more women get into the whole venture capital world, right? So you have, obviously you have Padmaja Ruparel, who's part of Indian Angels, right? Vani Kola, who's Kalari Capital. You've got Ankita Vashisht, who's a local Bangaloreite over here. You got Paula Bariwala, who's started the seed fund, the Stanford Angels. Shanti Mohan, who's doing, again, very disruptive stuff, Let's Venture, which is bringing lots and lots of startups and VCs and investors together onto one platform. And it's great because women founders often pioneer newer markets and fulfill very untapped customer needs through very innovative processes that are sometimes very related to what women like to do anyway. And the examples for that would be platforms like beauty products for beauty products and women focused business schools or eco-friendly sanitary products maybe, and maybe even innovative kitchen products, right? So and these businesses often tend to foster a lot of business innovation and address largely unmet and an often neglected need that is out there in the market. And VCs who are women VCs certainly are in a better position to understand the gap and to the potential of such an innovation. So I think these are some of the trends that are happening, which is great for our country. But unfortunately, there are 44 million incremental women that are going to get into the workforce by 2030. So unless we have lots and lots of jobs for them, it may not be the right thing for them at that point. So I think it's very important that we do something about it right now.
Sure. And I'm so glad you brought up about, these are like really interesting trends, and I think you're bang on about all of them.